Welcome back, Spurs fans, to the Hepler Football Channel. We got a win, a much-needed win, another must-win. Wasn't pretty, but we're going to talk about the match between Fulham and Tottenham in our post-match ponderings here this afternoon. Right now, you got the Chelsea and Liverpool game going on, so there's some things that can happen that we're going to discuss based on what they do, but we're going to get right into it. So definitely a win. Needed the 3 points. Thought this was going to be a very tight game. I had predicted 2-1. Thought we'd come out a little stronger offensively, but that just didn't happen, and we just didn't capitalize on some of our opportunities. So we're going to go into talking about our good, bad, and ugly. So we're going to ponder upon the good things that happened in this match. And I also want you all to comment on what you think the Spurs did well. We're going to talk about the bad things that happened, which is, you got good, bad, ugly. So bad's not the bottom. It's kind of in between. And let me know what you all think, things that the Spurs did bad or what happened bad with the match and whatnot. And then we're going to go into the ugly. And there was a little bit ugly today. So we're going to talk about that. So this leaves the Spurs right now still in 8th position. We get the 3 points we need to give ourselves an opportunity to move up on teams in front of us, depending on what happens with the matches, especially the one that's going on right now, Liverpool-Chelsea. So definitely needed the 3 points at least to keep pace. That was a minimum that had to happen. So we got the 3. So we're going to talk about the good now. So we're going to ponder upon the good things that happened in this match. So we got the win. We got the 3 points. This is the first back-to-back win we've had since November. So while it wasn't the prettiest win, it's actually something that we did that we have not been able to do in recent, at least probably the last month or two at least, is actually win these games where we get out in front and it's a team we should beat, but we just don't pull through. We give up a late goal or goals to let them tie or go ahead and don't get the points that we should get out of the match. And so that was a big problem with us within the past 2 months, just giving up points left and right. So that's something that we did well. We got a shutout, another shutout, back-to-back shutouts. So, a little bit of confidence boost there, but this probably wasn't the most confident shutout that was happened. So definitely great to get the win, great to get the 3 points, got back-to-back wins, did something we haven't done in a while. So that's definitely something positive. The next positive, the good thing that I want to talk about is the Kane, Son, Bell, Dele front four. Early on the match, looked they were having some good combination play, some good link-up play, some things were working pretty well. So that was something nice to see. Dele was pretty active. You can argue whether he got the goal or it's an own goal, whatever. But good play. We had a great play from Bell way deep in our end. Gives a big old pass up the middle. They get it out to Son. Son puts it across, and Dele's there for the play. So very good link-up play, I think, between those four. I know that's something everyone's been calling for. So we'll see how that continues to progress. Dele still, I think, needs to work on his legs and still can, keep his energy up. But he did pretty good out there. And then, of course, Kane was all over the pitch as usual, doing his normal thing, making beautiful passes as he's been doing all season. Bell was pretty good, not quite as dynamic, but I think the way that we were set up didn't allow for that. And then Son was doing his normal thing. Should have had another assist. Was creating multiple opportunities out there on the left wing again, not just for himself, but for the teammates. So very good combo play I like seeing in that first half, at least early on, from those front four. The next good thing we're going to talk about is, hey, the disallowed goal. Finally, a rule that works in our favor. So bless the rules makers for the rule they made, because, you know, you could easily argue that the guy had no inclination to affect the ball with his hand or arm. But as the rule stands, as it is right now, it doesn't matter if it's intended or not. A ball off of the hand or arm that leads directly to a goal, or link up play to a goal, is going to be disallowed. And that's just in our favor. So that's one of the good things. Another good thing I think that we had go in our favor, because we were not finishing like we should. So, all right, let me know what you all think the good things are. That's all I've got down for the good for that match. Next, we're going into the bad. I'm going to talk about the bad things that I think, that I identified, that I witnessed while watching the match. Just so you all know, usually I'm taking little notes too. So I'm not just watching the match and just trying to remember. I've got little notes and stuff I keep. It's not like doing a player analysis ponderings that I do, where I do a super deep dive into each player and the entire match. But this is just kind of a quick overview, quick feel on what we thought, what I felt like the team did for that day. So the first bad thing I think we had was the lineup. Unless there was an issue with Reguilon or Aurier not recovering from the match this weekend, they should have been in there. They create a different dynamic for the team and for the opposing team too, to have to worry about. And I think that actually hurt our offensive prowess a little bit. Even though we had some good stuff working with the front four, those two out on the wings pushing up creates additional pressure. And I think that's kind of where maybe Bell wasn't quite as dynamic, because they could actually focus on Bell more. And they were really doing a good job of getting back, and we just weren't as effective in link-up play and moving the ball and actually spreading the width this match, I don't think. There were times that we did that, but it's usually due to, you know, Kane dropping deep and putting a ball over the top to Son, or trying to put one through to Bell or Deli. So that's where it was coming from. It wasn't additional width created by pushing up our outside backs. So I think that's kind of a bad thing. I guess we'll probably never know if there was an issue or not, or he just felt like they needed some rest. So, you know, for me, I didn't think it was the best option if they were fit and available and ready to go. The next bad thing I want to talk about is the finishing quality. This has been an issue beyond just this match. It's something that you can go back multiple matches and see that we've just not really done a good job, at least in the last month, other than a handful of games, you know, Burnley and a few others. But a lot of matches we're having difficulty putting that final ball in the back of the net and putting teams away too. So that's something that we definitely need to step up. Our finishing quality, get that done. They actually outshot us in this match, believe it or not, by the stats that are posted on Google. So, you know, they had the ball a lot. They had possession. They had a better passing rating. They had the ball. So it's kind of like what was happening a month or two ago. You know, we get ahead, we're going to sit back if it's a goal or not. Now, granted, Fulham's not the most offensively prowess team out there. They struggle to score goals usually. They're about a goal or just a little under a goal a match. So I can understand, you know, being a little more conservative. But we did it from at least halftime on, if not right before half on. So again, I think that's a huge issue for us, that we don't stay up on keep the gas pedal down whenever we have a chance to really run someone over and just take the match by the horns and just, you know, own it. It almost backfired in our face too. I mean, if they would have got that goal, they almost had another couple goals. Lloris ended up with a couple good saves because we were backing down. We were backed in, and we weren't doing what we were doing to play the first part of the match. So that's, but finishing quality is going to allow us to be more relaxed in our defense, and also it's going to put more pressure on the other team, where they're going to have to overextend even more than, okay, they're only one goal down, they got to get one back. They got to get 2 or 3 back. They've really got to overextend. So that's just something that we definitely need to work on a little bit better. Now we're moving into the ugly. I really only have one ugly. I mean, you could also say, the way that we played in the second half and just the way we backed down. But my ugly for this match is Sanchez. I know he had a good match last match. Pretty good match. I know in my post-match ponderings of the last match, I even identified that there were a number of errors he made in that last match. Well, in this one, I know he made a few good stops and saves, but he committed significant number of errors. And some of those stops and last-second stops and saves he made is because of his errors he made. And a lot of it has to do with his positioning. His positioning and spatial awareness is very poor, I would have to say. He does a very poor job of understanding the space around him, where he needs to be, and what he needs to be doing to mitigate the risks that the other team is posing to us. And I mean, I got my little sheet over here. There's at least 7 or 8 instances where he was poorly positioned or made a poor play that could have cost us, and definitely would have cost us against a higher quality offensive opponent, like a Man City or Liverpool, or, I mean, you just name whoever you think's a higher quality offensive opponent. They would have taken advantage of 1 or 2 of those at least and put the ball in the back of the net. So while he had a good match, and I'm not arguing that he started and everything, we kind of need to see what he is. But he, in my opinion, was what he's been for the past month or 2. He's been a way through our defense for the other team. And that's just as simple as I can say it. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. Because, yeah, like I said, he made a couple of good last-second stabs and saves at the ball, but part of those were brought on because of him. So you can't give him credit for it and not hold him accountable for what led to it. So, I'm giving him credit for, making those last-second stops, but I'm also holding him accountable for what he did that created that situation. And like I said, it's not every time, but there's still a lot of issues with him in the back alongside whoever. And he does play better with Toby, because Toby's back there and in his ear constantly. But that can't be the case. We need someone in there that can do better. And he gave up a corner at one point in time that he just got completely muscled right off the ball by a guy that it didn't even hardly come up to his shoulders, his head height. So I've said this numerous times. He's not as strong and physical as he is purported to be. He just isn't. He gets muscled off the ball too easily. So I feel like we need to make a change there. Toby definitely needs to be our main guy on every match, if not every critical match. But we need someone else in there. And I've been saying Rodon's the one. I still think Dyer's too inconsistent and gives up too many critical errors at the wrong time, in the wrong place. And what Rodon can do is actually provide some aerial superiority and support, where Sanchez can do that on occasion and Dyer just doesn't do it. And so I think maybe the Rodon-Toby option is maybe something we need to look at. So we'll run back through the good, bad, and ugly real quick. So on the good, we had got the 3 points to win. The 4 people up front: Bale, Song, Kane, and Dele. I almost forgot Dele. It's been a while since he started. And then the disallowed goal. I mean, those were the things that went well for us. In the bad category, we had the lineup. Didn't feel like it was our best lineup in a must-win. As I said, these are must-wins going forward, so we got to play our best 11 every time, unless there's a real good reason not to. And then finishing quality, we definitely need to get that improved. We could have had this game put to bed a lot earlier, but we just are not doing good on the finishing. And then the last thing is the ugly Sanchez. So definitely good to get the win. Got some positive things to take out of this. Got some things we definitely need to work on. And we got a big match coming up against Crystal Palace on Saturday. And then, we get back into Europa play. So, let's hope that we learn from this, we get better, and we continue to progress and keep fighting for that top 5. So let me know what you all think about everything that we talked about here, the good, the bad, the ugly. And, let's look forward to this weekend getting a result against Palace. So come on, you Spurs.